Joshua Shelton. I live at 6455 Outrigger Court, and I'm here to speak on behalf of the Jaipur Literature Festival. I'm also a graduate student at ZEE Boulder in Tibetan and Himalaya Studies. In conversations on economic costs, we tend to focus on numbers and lose sight of the human dimensions that impact our assessments. I wish to draw your attention to the human cost of defunding the Jaipur Literature Festival. The ability to mentally inhabit difference and diversity with openness and curiosity is undervalued and indeed increasingly under attack in our current socio-political climate. The JLS cultivates just this, an environment that an environment in which expression, insight, and difference are celebrated and encouraged. We live in a city washed in whiteness. A mere glimpse around the room will reveal this, and comfortable sameness. What more important task is there as leaders of Boulder than facilitating gatherings of people that expand our minds, soften our hearts, and encourage empathy? We live at the junction of a tenuous and challenging time, and it's the promise of JLS and what it delivers that can help us move towards greater understanding, patience, and acceptance. As a society, we are in desperate need of moving from tolerance to acceptance, and supporting the JLF will only assist in these efforts. Please do not condemn a vibrant and enriching community of conversation and thought to the fate of obscurity. Please help this keep going.
Thank you, Joshua.
Good evening. My name is Joe Von Mays. I live at 17036 East Ithaca Circle in Aurora, Colorado. I'm here to speak on behalf of the Jaipur Literature Festival here in Boulder. In my experience, I have served as the Emeritus Poet Laureate of Aurora, Colorado. I have also been lucky enough to run a poetry program in the schools called Your Writing Counts that engages just over 200,000 students annually. On Wednesday, the 24th of January this year, I boarded my first international flight outside of this hemisphere to join one of the largest literary festivals and movements in the world. What makes Jaipur necessary is its inclusivity to the subject of literacy. It's not about the academic boys club that we are accustomed to viewing. Jaipur strips down the seemingly unscalable walls of the literary world, and by doing that, it opens up the blockaded bridges, borders, and boundaries that separate our society. Boulder, being a populace that tends to pride itself on its intellectual circles and growths of mindset, is often plagued by the cultural complacency of a seemingly monochromatic community. Bringing together hundreds of individuals who share the same common belief in the absolute necessity of storytelling allows the extension of a dialogue necessary to groom democracy and equity in our society. I am a benefit of such a rare peek into a supercharged literary force of what a melting pot can be when an Indian Dalit, the lowest form of the caste system, can communicate across the same lines to an African-American male as myself of the struggles that we've experienced in both of our communities. We start to find some resources that will allow us to try to cure the things that are messing and plaguing with our society. It's really important for us to bring this type of cultural cataclysm together, particularly for a region that tends to continue to push against each other when we could resolve these lines. So I urge you to support this. I think that it can go a long way into helping our region grow. Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
I'm Alexander Carruthers, a local resident and student at Boulder High School. Earlier this fall, I attended and volunteered at the Jaipur Literature Festival in Boulder, and was able to see firsthand all that this festival could offer the city. And frankly, this experience speaks to everything that Boulder is: cultured, well-read, and well-traveled. Providing meaningful conversation with people from around the world, with fresh ideas and different perspectives, and all of it for free. I was lucky enough to see firsthand its Indian counterpart, and teens in India flock by the hundreds to see this beautiful cultural experience, to absorb the knowledge and understanding from authors from around the world. But frankly, in Boulder, teens are not nearly as excited. America's youth seem to have little interest in the literary arts compared with the aforementioned in Jaipur. To combat this issue, we have a library, a place of learning, growth, and understanding. But to fully utilize this beautiful tool, there must first be an interest sparked in teens, to utilize the opportunities given to them. Now, the library has put together many programs for teens to develop a love of the literary arts, but none so beautiful and extravagant as the Jaipur Literature Festival. A spectacle that catches the eye and brings excitement to the world of literature, inspiring thought and a love of learning that can be utilized by the generations to come. The Jaipur Literary Festival is waiting patiently at our front door. The largest literary festival in the world, a landmark to be embraced. And I certainly believe that it would be a shame to close the door and let it walk away. Let's let this festival grow into something beautiful. Thank you.
My name is Judy. Actually, it's Leaf, not Lewif.
Yeah,
And
I wasn't going to touch that one. Yeah.
and I'm a Boulder resident. I live at 4067 Guadalupe Street, and I'm here in support of the Jaipur Literary Festival. And I've been fortunate. I'm also a former president of Naropa University, and my husband is the current president of Naropa. I'm also a writer, and I've been fortunate enough to participate in the Boulder JLF as well as in Jaipur at the mega JLF. And not to be too repetitive, but I think that Boulder is a perfect place for this festival. And I also know that it's just sort of getting started. To establish something like this as part of identity and a real draw will take as I said before, 4 or 5 years becomes known. And it's international, which is one thing I think is so powerful about it. It brings people, not just thinkers from around North America, but around the world. And also, it's an opportunity to send people from here to Jaipur and elsewhere. So I was lucky to go to Jaipur, and other local people have been sponsored to represent Boulder and the richness that we have here in other parts of the world. It's important to me that it's international. It's important to me that it is free of charge. And I think there's tremendous opportunity for kind of becoming known as a cultural and artistic center, more so than we are now. I also think it's a real benefit to so many people in Boulder who are of senior citizens who have this incredible rich experience. Many people do not have resources to go to expensive cultural events that often. So this is offered freely to them. So thank you very much. I hope you consider continuing funding.
Thank you, Judy.
My name is Nico Odysseus. I'm the president of Shambhala Publications. We moved here just under 3 years ago from Boston, the second city of publishing. We moved here to Boulder because we wanted to be in a place where we could both make an impact on the community and also be in a community that benefited us. And we've taken advantage of that, growing to over 40 people here, hiring deeply in the community. Part of the reason we moved here is because of the richness and literacy and engagement of this community. It's such a highly educated and literate community. The Boulder Bookstore just last week was rated the #1 bookstore in the country by Publishers Weekly, the main thing. This is a happening community. Oh, okay, right, now I know what that means. Got it. I was wondering if people were crazy around here, and now I got it. Okay. In an age where literacy is declining quickly among kids, we need to do all we can to light a fire of passion for stories, both to readers young and old. I'm obviously here for the Jaipur Festival, expressing my support. And I think the previous speaker, as well as some of the future ones, will tell all the great things about this festival. But just to bring another dimension to this conversation is the fact that we have an opportunity here not only to engage our community and drive, with the programming for kids and driving the high schools and universities to this, but I think there's a tremendous opportunity we have to marshal the Chamber of Commerce, the hospitality industry, the restaurants, the breweries, all the things that make Boulder a wonderful destination, and really try to market this and make this a destination. With a $4 million budget shortfall that I read about today, this is something that can actually drive revenues to this community as well. There's a lot we can do. There's a lot of opportunity here.
Thank you, Nico.
My name is Carly Sherwinter, and I've been a resident in Boulder for about a decade and a half. I work as the Family Engagement Manager for the Boulder JCC. I'm a regular patron of the Boulder Public Library, and I actually found out about the Jaipur Literature Festival through a regular library email. I was eager to get involved. I love to read and to learn about the world, and it was particularly helpful to me that the festival takes place mostly on a weekend because it allowed me to participate in the festival activities without missing work. So that was really important. As a volunteer for the festival, I was really struck by the diversity of attendees, and it was young families who were coming in to do the concerts with their kids or to do the family programming that was offered. I saw high school and college students who had just sort of wandered in and got hooked by the sand mandala that the Tibetan monks were doing in the lobby in front of the Canyon Theater. There were groups of young professionals who spent their day on Saturday and Sunday listening to people talk about what life was like in North Korea or about Syrian refugees, about global climate change, but all through the lens of literature. And I thought that that was really, really beautiful to see and interact with those people who came to our library and were there to learn together. There were so many opportunities for participants to interact with the speakers from all over the world, and I think, just heard from Jules how impressive it was to be standing in line even for the bathroom with someone who was a world-renowned author, and that's just a unique opportunity. Our library's not that big, so you get to interact. My husband and I actually had the opportunity to travel to India in January, and we were able to participate in the Jaipur Literature Festival in Jaipur. It was so impressive, the magnitude and the cultural significance. We were there together with hundreds of thousands of people who had come to talk about books and to discuss literature. It was really an amazing experience. I encourage you all to attend September 21st through the 23rd at the library this year. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Philip Lutkendorf. I have been a professor at the University of Iowa, and I'm in the process of retiring, and I have a home at 430 Overland Drive, which is up near the Peak to Peak Highway, so Boulder County. Part-time resident, and I'm speaking on behalf of the Jaipur Festival. It's been my privilege to be a speaker at 6 of these events, 4 of the festival in India and twice now here in Boulder. And I want to tell you 3 things, 3 reasons why I feel very passionate about them. One is the caliber of programming, just the fabulous writers, journalists, my present company excluded, poets, filmmakers, activists who come here, are brought here from around the world and are put into really fantastic conversation with each other on panels and also with the audiences. I was last fall spellbound by presentations by, for example, Michael Rezendes of the Boston Globe, Pulitzer Prize winner, Christina Lamb, an award-winning British war correspondent who writes on Iraq and Afghanistan, and of course many, many others, people that I would normally not have a chance to hear. The second reason is the quality of the audiences. As a writer, and as an academic writer particularly, it's just incredibly exciting to meet people who care so much about writing and communication. The audiences listen passionately, they question, there's wonderful interchange that goes on both in the sessions and outside of them. The third is the fact that the festival is free and open to the public, and it's very egalitarian. Neither in India nor here in Boulder are there any VIPs or reserved seats. It's first come, first serve. Everybody has an equal chance to hear writers and artists that they care about. I was particularly thrilled when Boulder became the host for this festival because it is such a special place for me, and I urge you to continue to support it. Thank you.
Thank you, Philip.